While the preceding story, Robot, served as a transitional piece from the Jon Pertwee era of Doctor Who, the Ark in Space leaves behind all moorings and heads steadfast into a new era of the show. Let's take a look at how this classic story reinvents Doctor Who. The Jon Pertwee era of Doctor Who was largely focused on Earth and heavily featured the Doctor paired up with Unit to combat the alien threat of the week. The Ark in Space marks the end of that formula and begins as the TARDIS materializes on the Nerva Beacon space station, an atmospheric setting that becomes the narrative anchor for the rest of Season 12. Not only have we left the Earth and Unit behind, but also longtime producer Barry Letts and longtime script editor Terrence Dicks. This new era of Doctor Who is ushered in by producer Philip Hinchcliffe, who will transform Doctor Who over the first 3 seasons of Tom Baker's tenure on the show. Joining forces with Hinchcliffe, Robert Holmes takes the reign as script editor, becoming the most prolific writer of Doctor Who's classic era, writing for Patrick Troughton, Jon Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, and Colin Baker. Hinchcliffe and Holmes, while being neither a detective agency nor a tome penned by Arthur Conan Doyle, reshaped Doctor Who with a bold new vision. Drawing inspiration from Hammer horror and classic Gothic films, they infused the series with a brooding, cinematic atmosphere that stood in stark contrast to its earlier, more family-friendly tone. The result is often cited as the peak of classic Doctor Who. We won't go through a blow-by-blow description of this serial, so we'll just leave it to reading the short summary on the back of the DVD to set the stage for things. The TARDIS lands on a space station orbiting Earth in the distant future. It's seemingly deserted, but the Doctor, Sarah, and Harry soon discover that they are not alone. Thousands of humans are in cryogenic sleep, and while they've slept, their Ark has been invaded. A parasitic insect race, the Worm, have taken control and threaten the very future of mankind. Ark in Space distills Doctor Who down to its essentials. The opening episode features just 3 characters, the Doctor, Harry, and Sarah, and midway through, Sarah is effectively sidelined, leaving just the Doctor and Harry to drive the narrative. Most of the action unfolds within the confines of only 2 rooms, creating an intimate, almost claustrophobic atmosphere that heightens the tension. It's a minimalistic way to come out of the gate for the new showrunners, but it works effectively due to the acting prowess of Tom Baker and the effectiveness of the set design. Classic Doctor Who is notorious for having cheesy special effects. It's part of the charm of the show, and as fans, we have a tendency to be, shall we say, forgiving? Ark in Space provides the standard cheap-ass laser effects we've become accustomed to, and that's all well and good. The model effects of the space station are fine, I guess. Actually, they are good for a 50-year-old show, but the primary effect for the show is bubble wrap that's been painted green. They're always after me, Lucky Charms. This works to varying degrees, from believable to laughable to actually pretty horrific, and back again to laughable. The special edition DVD provides updated CGI model effects of the space station, which are a nice improvement. It takes the CGI just far enough to keep it within the overall aesthetics of the show, while not being too modern. And it's great that they give you the option to watch the show with the old effects or with the new CGI updates. A quick distraction before we move on. I made some AI images for this portion of the video that didn't work out, but I thought they were glorious enough in their own way to briefly show them. I mean, they aren't good enough to include in this video, but they are so bad, how do I not include them in this video? There are many similarities that can be made between this 1975 Doctor Who serial and the 1979 Ridley Scott masterpiece, Alien. Both stories share a common narrative core, set in space with a crew and suspended animation. Both present the threat of a parasitic alien species that uses humans as hosts. Both are set in claustrophobic, sterile environments where escape is impossible. The characters of Noah and Cain both have biblical names and both succumb to similar tragic fates. One stark difference between the Ark in Space and Alien was the budget. The fourth part Ark in Space was produced for an estimated modest $100,000, while Ridley Scott's Alien was produced for an estimated $10 million. This 50-year-old episode is an absolute classic and one of my personal favorites. Seriously, this story was released 50 years ago? God, I'm old. Get off my lawn. The episode ends with the Doctor, Harry, and Sarah beaming down to Earth to repair the malfunctioning transmat receptors so the Ark's inhabitants can begin repopulating the planet. This seamlessly transitions the narrative into the next serial, The Centauran Experiment. That's all for now. I'll see you next time.